Welcome back to yet another edition of ZENPod. We will continue our conversation with Shashikiran from where we left off the last time. In the last episode, we spoke about his definition of spirituality, his tryst with destiny, more importantly, how it was growing up in a family of geniuses. Shashi, let's continue our discussion and dive deeper into what you have to offer. A related question before I get on to your commercial aspect of it. Somebody like me who wants to learn, let's say, music, and there are a lot of people like me who say, two questions for you. One, do I need to have a good voice? And two, how do I start? And is there any...
No. So first question, good voice, very difficult to define. All of these attributes or adjectives are human-made.
Correct.
Okay. The effect of any voice is as much as your love and passion that it can generate. Now, every voice is good in certain qualities according to creation of nature.
Okay.
It will have some unique qualities.
Correct.
It's just that you have to start believing that you have that. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, to learn. All that is required is passion. Now, everybody who learns or everybody who sings does not need to take it as a profession.
Correct.
So anyone can sing it.
Correct.
So mathematics, if I learned in school, it's not like I've become a mathematician now.
Correct.
But it didn't stop me from the quest of wanting to know math. I still do a lot of math. And it still helps me in music too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily have to learn with a purpose. Learning is knowledge per se. And we don't have to restrict ourselves with the thought, everybody who can sing, singing is unwinding. So it is just a way that you unwind for yourself.
Correct.
So it gives you an inner joy.
Absolutely.
First, enjoy that. So when we are in a zone that we can enjoy that, and 7 notes, if somebody can sing correctly, they'll be activating their 7 chakras. All the notes are connected to your chakras. So your energy points are activated automatically.
Oh, really?
And it's also a direct, singing uses the same technique, breathing technique of swimming. So it acts also as improving your stamina, capability in the lung and all that.
Wow.
And that's not the purpose to life.
Yeah, I will come to that later. I know you have done a lot of work in the therapies and all of that. So I'll come to that. Okay, now let's get to the other side of, you have done a lot of work and I'll pick on some of them. Let me get to the Karnatak Brothers, the concept of yours, the idea of yours, the vision of yours. I want the listeners to know a little bit about it and what was the idea behind it and how it came to you.
Karnatika was an organization I started.
Okay.
And that was in about 1997.
Oh, okay.
So this organization's idea was to propagate Carnatic music to as far as possible, as many people, mainly the youth. It was intended to use technology and otherwise. So it was an offline-online model to make people aware of the subject Carnatic without getting too much into the detailing of what it is. So I should enjoy it the way it is.
Yes.
Without worrying too much whether I know it. So if I watch a cricket match, I just know cricket is cricket.
Correct.
So I don't need to be, or somebody enjoys good food. So you don't need, being a connoisseur is just as far as you can feel the taste. So if I can make someone a good listener and somebody understand what this music is all about and just them enjoying the joy of hearing it, then that purpose is served. Then there are others. So this was an organization also. I had also then registered it as a trust. The idea of that was to educate people who are already learning into, see, a lot of times what happens is now people learn having a book. Now, and if you ask them, they'll say, I am in the seventh Geetam, sir. I am learning the third Jantaverse.
Correct.
Now, this way of teaching will make you a parrot.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I'm not criticizing the system.
No.
I'm only saying that something which should be taught for fun and joy, you miss out that. So 7 notes are common to all forms of music. So why should it be that complex? And though there are 7.2 million possible combinations of ragas, we only use about 150 or 200 ragas. So within this, either 7 notes, you can either go up or come down. Just like life. Again, this again will teach you life. Okay. So if you can either go in your graph is going good, you go in ascent. Sometimes you have a slip, you come down. And then sometimes you're in a transition zone where you're in between. You go up a little bit, come down a little bit. So there's a zigzag pattern. Music is exactly the same. Okay. Every raga is a personality for me. Every note you can see it like a personality, like a human being. Mm-hmm. So now, if you are able to connect this to a student and make them understand that this is very easy and logical. Okay. Every movement is logical. Carnatic music was created with a lot of positive intent. So the way the notes, even the gamakams are not just science, not grammar alone. They are more, everything, every ragam. What is music basically? It's an emotional connect which has a direct effect on your hormones. Okay. Because your hormones and your senses are captured, in a way it is impacting both your nervous system and it's also helping your heart. Right. And other parts. Mm-hmm. So there is an emotional quotient, there's an intellectual quotient. It's a balance between the two. Now, the funniest part of this whole cycle is when I make it very scientific to someone, they're going to get scared of it. Yes. But if they're going to just see the fun side, like la la la, so they don't need to know the notes. I only want them to repeat this. La la la, ra ra ra, la 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 la. Just enjoy this. You don't need to know any word. You don't need to know anything in music. You don't even need to know a tune. First repeat. And you have the ability within you to get closer to this. Then I will, if you don't, it's just I like identifying one color with the other. So I have to make you somewhere get to that understanding that this is just like colors. Correct. Very interesting. Some people might seem that you might think they are tone deaf. They are not. Oh. They might have difficulty in understanding which is going high and which is going low. So I even tell them now, Sarigama Padani, just put Sa as 1, Re is 2, Ga as 3. Okay. So now you will automatically form an image of a graph. Right. So la la la, then it's coming down. Pa ma ga. So it's 5, 4, 3. Oh. So I'll be able to connect that based on whichever pitch. So then you will start seeing it like more like a visual depiction of the whole thing. Correct. This is the first step. If we start doing this, I think everybody can learn. Similarly, the beats. The beats are already there. Right. We all talk in a particular speed. We all walk in a particular speed. We all have a particular style. So we all have a natural rhythm. Correct. Now, what makes you like a song itself is an interesting pattern. What makes you like a tune? Correct. So based on your personality, like face reading, I can do music reading of your personality. Who you are, what you are. Wow. So which is why we sing a particular kind of song based on, even if we don't know the audience. Okay. Because they will be of a different spectrum. Right. I don't normally prepare all the list of my concerts. I just go there and then, the first song might be just a tester. And then, then we kind of know, okay, this is the kind of crowd which is there. So probably I would have to sing something. Then we know what is working, what's not working in their mind. Oh, wow. What kind of mood they are in. Yeah. What will they be receptive to? So you have to make an assessment very fast. So you're almost having to gauge them and then serve what you serve. So if you've already preset something, then you are telling them that, this is what you're going to get today. You like it or not, it's up to you. Now, there's a lot more fun when you go there with a blank mind and then, receive them, and then, the minds will then sink. There's a lot more heart into it.
But are you saying this because you are so deeply knowledgeable about music, Shashi?
No. You should first know that you are not knowledgeable. That's the reason you should not prepare. Because if you prepare, then you will start preparing to your intellectual capabilities.
True.
So sometimes you have to know that you are not everything. You're not a master. The ultimate person, the master is actually the listener. You think they don't know anything. And you think you know, the day you think you know more than them. That is your problem.
Yeah, true.
Because then you will be intellectually trying to command. It's like me dictating something to you. I become a dictator on stage.
Yeah.
I am governing your emotions. I can't govern your emotions. Your emotions are there already. I can only channelize my energy and your energy into a way that they synchronize. And we have to have a mind sync. It's like a marriage.
Correct.
It has to happen instantly there. And that connect has to happen, the chemistry has to happen there for a magic to work. It works only that way.
Yeah, I guess you're right, which is why you walk away from some concerts with a lot of satisfaction. And you say, wow, it was brilliant. And some of them you feel, true. But...
No, there was a time when in Carnatic music concerts, some concerts you would have only 3 people or 4 people attending. When I started my career, I had, some places where I would perform, I would have 3 or 4 people. So my father used to tell me, never prepare for a big stage.
Oh.
Every single place, even if you sing in your bathroom or puja room to your bedroom to anywhere, it's the same. Because there are Panchabhutams hearing you. Every energy is an energy. Out of the 4 people, you don't even know who the 4 people are. One could be Vishnu, one could be Saraswati, one could be Brahma, anybody. Or you name it or you don't name it. They would all be some kind of energy amshams. Or there could be a critic, even if you are putting it in very commercial terms. One of them could be a critic, one of them could be an organizer, international organizer or something. If you're going into a commercial dream, it could be any of these. So either ways, even if you're intellectual or commercial, you never know who those 4 people are. And those 4 people could be anybody. And tomorrow, one of the 4 people is only needed to spread the word.
Oh, very nice.
So you don't need 1,000 people all the time.
I never thought about it.
So I always tell, even when the Corona people come and tell me, this place, it's so many people, so you have to be careful. I say, one person gets it, that's enough.
True.
A lot of times we think of so many numbers. You have to get it only from one person.
Yeah, one person.
You're not worried about that many people who are going to be affecting you.
Correct. That is so true.
So to be just casual about that one person sometimes is a mistake.
Yes.
Right? So that's the same in music.
Very nice. What needs to be, I do a lot of teaching myself for MBA students, and you do a lot of music teaching. What needs to be done differently in the field of teaching, at least with relevance to music?
First of all, the passion of the teacher.
Yeah.
It's not an art where I need to make money alone.
Correct.
Whether a student comes and pays you something or does not pay you anything, it's all treated the same way. Your passion level has to be high. First of all, sharing knowledge means you have to remember, as a teacher, you're not going to lose anything. If he becomes better than you, that insecurity should never be there for a teacher. The teacher should never feel, what if he knows more than me?
Very well said.
The first purpose is he has to know more than you. Because what you gained in 25 years, you're going to communicate to him on day 1. So he's already gaining 25 years of your experience of what are the do's and don'ts.
Right.
So you should be willing to share it.
Very nice.
Without any apprehension of how far he can get. And if he excels, he's going to take it forward. So the art is going to keep moving forward. So we should first not be insecure. 2, the bond of a teacher with a student has to be of something where you never think you're superior. You are still a student, actually learning from the student. When he cannot get something, you are still learning how to make him get that.
Absolutely.
You are still a student.
Absolutely.
So he or she is teaching you also. Then hey, you were singing it for this long. There are many times I felt, hey, my student is able to do this better than I do.
Oh,
and I just listen.
Wow.
I become a listener. I plainly become a listener. And I want to give him more for his intellect. So his intellect, if it's going far, then I want to give him something more. Rather than thinking I should share only what I know. Brilliant. So I have to upgrade myself sometimes. So there are many times that you are a student also for the student that you teach. You can learn so many things from your own students. So it's not necessary that you assume that you're in a superior plane than your student. So you always believe that the artist is superior. Correct. And you are just sharing your experiences of what you have got from the art. So your job is just to guide and pass on what you know. But at the same time, you have to keep your keenness as a student to understand and analyze. A lot of times also, many times I would think that, a lot of things I learned when I was 3 or 4. I never did any analysis of that.
My God.
So it just came naturally. So I never even know how it is to not get it in a natural way.
Oh, okay.
Only when I teach a student now, then I become a little bit more analytical.
Right.
Oh, so probably this is what happened. This is what the brain should process for me to do it the right scientific way. So I don't know. So I'm also learning that because as a kid, I never processed that much data.
Awesome. Spontaneity. What is the most spontaneous thing you've done, Shashi?
Live in the moment.
Awesome.
The moment will make it spontaneous. Every moment, every single moment will create the spontaneity in you automatically. Because if you're searching to be different, if you're striving to be different, or you're striving something very hard, it'll be elusive. The magical moments happen when you don't strive. When you let it happen. You should just take that moment of insight that comes. That's why I say, any thought that comes, I don't let it go. I just use the thought. Why did it come to me of so many people? There must be a reason. Might be difficult for me to achieve within my lifetime. There's no harm in trying. If the thought is still there, maybe it'll manifest itself into a reality by someone else. Even 200 years later than my lifetime. But my thought has already come in, I can start the work. Put it in some place.
As a musician, do you like it or do you not like it when somebody comes up to say, sir, sing this line for me, or sing this one line for me, or somebody unknown to you, completely out of the, let's say you finished a concert and I just walk up to you and say, sir, can you sing a line for me, or a line party card?
It depends on two things. So there are sometimes moments when you want to do it, but you're not in that space to do it.
Correct. That's why I asked.
It's not like you don't want to do it.
No, I got it.
As a concert, you are first of all, for me, many times I'm zone out. Even when people come after the concert, one thing is I've never really worried about somebody coming and saying, even I've never understood or stayed for praises. Because within me, I would only be thinking of the moments that I could do better.
Very nice.
So there's an inner conscience that which is still singing. So it takes you actually almost 3 to 4 hours for you to actually come back to the balance energy. 2.5 hours is a time defined by the space or the organizer or whatever. Your mind is singing, 24 hours prior to that.
Correct.
and it will be singing for another 6 hours after that.
Oh my God.
So that entire
Like
moment,
you're in a trance. Yeah, you're in a trance kind of.
that moment, what happens in the reality of if so that's the reason I also don't like to plan just a song.
Yeah, which
So
is fantastic.
yeah, because that moment my mind will be saying Kalyani, if I have written Todi and I have to sing Todi, it's going to be difficult. No, my mind is singing Kalyani.
Correct.
I am singing Todi because the occasion wants me to sing it.
Very, very, very deep. Something in your field, and tough one after reading your profile to ask you this question. Something in your field you feel you have still not achieved or would like to.
Many things.
Something would you share with the listeners?
Ideally, I would like to set up a theme park for music.
Oh, brilliant.
Like a place where you go. I'm writing a novel on Carnatic music, which is called a Carnatic Fantasy World. So people haven't met Tyagaraja. What is it? What is it? Now, this is Sahana, somebody tells me. So what is this? So similarly, you want to know a lot. So one is an IT virtual theme park. The other is a real world. So now people go to a museum. What will they gain? Only the people who are interested will go. But if it's a theme park, and if I'm going to put something like a Ragamalika water slide.
Everybody will get it.
So there's a water slide. And you will know how the movements of the notes are going up and down and how it's created. So I visualize the entire park. So someday I hope I can do that. So, and then you walk up. There's a house, Tyagaraja house. Like you meet Mickey or Donald.
Right.
So somebody can meet Tyagaraja. Somebody can meet Purandaradasa.
Right.
On the street, take a picture if they want. They go to their house. They know everything. There's a Melakarta train which will take you around the theme park.
Awesome.
And then you can stop wherever you want. And then, get to learn more. And you will also have virtual simulator rides, which will take you to a world where you can meet all your fantasy artists. I meet Rajaratnam Pillai. I meet somebody else. So on a virtual simulator ride.
Wow.
Back to the future or whatever you want to call it. So point is, when I went to Disney World, this was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yes.
So as much as I was inspired by seeing it, I was more inspired by wanting to create something like that. And this is not for Carnatic music alone. I wanted for Hindustani also,
Hindustani
like
as well, yeah.
Tansen,
Correct.
Amir Khusro, everybody. Yeah.
Count me in when you start doing this. I promise you, I'll be on the next.
The resources have to be there.
The
resources have to be there. The world has to put things together. It is still a very far-fetched dream than reality. We need a place. We need all the resources. But right now, at least the thought is keeping me going. Yeah.
But whenever you do, give me a shout. If I still figure in your scheme of things, that is.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. And the other one is to create revive 64 art forms. Create a virtual university for all the 64 art forms.
Okay.
Yes, we may not have the Vishwa Hindu or what we could call as some kind of we all know Mohenjo-daro and
Harappa. Correct.
So the 64 arts were there. We may not have sword fighting and all that today.
Correct.
But we could replace it with some other art forms which are equally potent for somebody to learn. But to create something like that where, virtually, and then if we are able to get a space, then in reality, where people can learn, that could include everything, that they could connect to needed for their real life. But everybody will need to learn a little bit of everything, even if they major in something.
Very true. Very true. Very nice. And do you think if you were to go up to a university with this idea, in the US, of course, it may work. In India, if you do go up to a university, you think people are ready to accept these kind of ideas? And I doubt, which is why I'm asking you.
Right now, I always believe. If you believe strongly in an idea, then you have to go for it.
it will happen. True.
yourself.
True.
And if your passion is there 100%, and what if somebody says no to your idea? No big deal. You could scale it down, but it still can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always say a no is the biggest motivator for me.
Correct.
A failure is the biggest motivator for me. My detractors are the greatest inspiration, apart from all the inspirers that I said, because the moments they put you down are your strongest moments, because it makes you know at that point of time, yes, you're vulnerable. You're prone to reacting like every other human being does. But if you reflect back on it, then, your exact purpose to existence comes.
If you were not in music, Shashi, where would you have been? Or what would you be doing?
Many things.
Really?
Different points of time, different things I wanted to be. I love cooking.
Oh.
Very passionate about creating an international restaurant of multi-cuisines where you can have, somebody. No, I wanted a concept of fast food to be very innovative. Whenever I've gone and I've thought, why not, praise them or bill them according to the minutes they spend. And then give them the incentives according to that. And then I also wanted a place which is a silent zone for people to just come and sit there who prefer silence. So the same place should have a silent zone, it should have a fast food zone. So things like that. So where they can do their so now the hotels are doing only afternoon check-ins. So most business people go from 6 o'clock, they're back, they want to get back to the place in the evening. So what's the point? You don't want to stay there in the night also. So your work is done. So a place where they can shower, they can freshen up, and then they can do their business. They can do everything. And even the food they're not disturbed. A conveyor belt will give them what they want. They order an iPad and all that. So these are all some fantasy things. So just from the food industry, I want to create a temple, which is, another thing that was a musical idea. Wow. But a temple where there's no God, but a getaway place for me to just have peace.
Yeah.
Any faith, any person.
And walking.
They just want a silent moment.
True.
They just come, spend the silent. They can visualize whichever image they want, but they should come and peacefully, be there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They have specialized cabins where they can feel that energy. And we create an ambience of sound of silence. What is sound of silence? There is a lot to that. So we could create some ambience feel for them.
Brilliant.
So things like that. Those are some of the things. The other thing is just, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pilot. So
interesting.
So I had gone to Air Force to become I had qualified for being an Air Force man.
Really?
But then I took to music.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things.
Thank God.
Of course, cricket.
Yeah.
And cricket I can't beat. So.
But thank God you took to music. Otherwise, the world would have lost surely a good musician. So many.
I always think there's nobody will actually make that kind of a loss to anyone. But I always believe that music is something that has got me close to something. Whether I even said a few months back that I'm going to retire from active performances. But the point is, immediately a lot of people panicked whether I'm going to retire. What am I going to do out of that?
Yeah.
Point is, when your breath is music, the retirement or not retirement is only on whether you're going to be on stage or not.
Correct.
So the realization of what music means to you is redefined to you. So what is it for me? Is it being only on stage, getting that line? There are many people who are doing it. Yeah. So if I want to do something, I can contribute a lot more when I feel I'm not caught on to something. Otherwise, 25 years or every year, it's been the same routine.
Yeah.
March, I go to US, then June, I go here. It's all defined. Wow. So we get into a system of our brain doing certain things. Correct. Now, if I break that logic for myself, then opens up a new window of what I can be.
Brilliant. Some quick questions for you, Shashi. Nadam, what does it mean to you?
Sound of absoluteness.
Interesting. Very interesting. Shruti?
The exact understanding of absoluteness.
Okay. Talam?
The universality of defining time theory.
Role of technology in music, good or bad?
Both. If you're using it for constructive things, good. If you're using it to spend on commenting and wasting time on criticizing people online, then it's a bane.
Has spirituality come to you, or do you go looking for it?
I think it has come to me because from the experiences that I've gone, I've always wondered, why me? Why are these things happening to me? So it has come to me, but then once it comes to you, then you also go wanting more.
Right.
So there's also a deep desire to know more.
Your message for aspiring musicians out there, somebody who wants to become a Shashi or somebody who wants to do something in music, what would be your message to them?
Don't become me. Look at Tyagaraja, look at Purandaradasa. Don't look at any musician. Don't look at inspirations from living, existing, or just musicians. Look at people like Purandaradasa or others, who lived in a different era, but never cared. There was no performance. So performance or a short-term goal is never a fixation for being what you can be. Second thing is, don't imitate someone just because they're successful.
Okay.
Never follow a herd. You be yourself.
Very nice.
Express what you understand as you can understand. Then you will enjoy it more.
Awesome. Last question.
Enjoy, don't chase.
Enjoy, don't chase. I like it. Last question to you. What is the legacy that Kiran would like to leave behind?
Wanting to be a good human being.
How would you like to be remembered as Shashi? 100 years
just a noble soul, wanting to feel that I had character within myself to improve myself on my weaknesses and my strengths and be a good human being and have the conviction that I was a good human being. More music made me a good human being. Thank you very much, Shashi. I'm still thinking about some of the answers you've given me. They are very, very deep. Your depth and the quotient of emotional intersection is very, very high. I'm very, very impressed, to say the least. And surely we'll reach out to you and speak to you more. But I want to thank you for coming on this show and look forward to being in touch with you. Thank you. Pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thank you for doing this, Venki, and thank you for doing this for the society. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that, my dear friends, has been 2 episodes of an exciting conversation with Shashikiran. Do stay tuned in as we have a new guest coming up on next week's edition of ZENPod. Till then, have fun.